sang it?
The script.
Is that the name of? Is it a group or a person?
It's a band. And
Okay, the script.
They've got great songs. Now,
what are they saying?
Says be a champion on the walls of fame.
That's
be
right.
Students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers, be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be truth seekers. And he says that they're saying that the line that really gets
The line that does it for you.
do it for your people.
Oh,
Do it for your people.
the way Arsenal did
pride.
it for us yesterday.
Oh, me.
But he said do it for your people.
Me.
And it just made me remember that Arsenal did something for the Ghana fans yesterday.
Tuesday morning,
Yes.
you conveniently forgot there was a football game
forgot which
between
one?
Arsenal and
Who
Liverpool.
forgot which one?
Today you wake up in the morning after a 1-0 penalty something. Oh, that be
Okay, penalty something.
Kokui,
Oh, yeah, pardon.
Kokui, I like you, pa. I like you, pa.
Kojo.
But don't bring your Arsenal into my Hall of Fame.
All right, guys, it's an interactive show. It's Friday's edition. Send us a WhatsApp 054-998-6996. Today's show will be great. We're looking forward to it. Get in touch, get involved. My name is Bernard Avle. I'm here with Kokui, Hanson, and Kojo Boateng. Kokui, let's start with the graphic.
All right, licensure cancellation suicidal. GES Director General cautions. Also, there's a special supplement on 30 years of German reunification. Can you imagine? Already 30 years. And Apasara leads PNC to election 2020. Danny Barr takes over chairmanship. That's the front page of the Daily Graphic.
The Ghanaian Times, President cuts short for roads hospital projects in the eastern region. Ho STC intercity yard attack, 20 suspects freed. FDA approves COA mixture herbal medicine. One-day registration exercise, eligible voters grab last chance. And Magdan Entrepreneurship Challenge launched.
The Daily Statesman, political leaders must preach unity. Ochinhini reacts to Mahama's Achim Sakawa attacks. And Ghana wins big at Global Capital Bond Awards 2020. Etua gets massive development boost and vote massively for NPP to do more. First Lady urges electorates.
The Chronicle, how Togoland criminals captured police commander. The story is here in the Chronicle. Awuku Anipati is not paramount chief of Mepe. This is according to the Kingmakers. Majority Chief Whip goes bonkers and says Bunu Minister is very corrupt. But Amakumi Richardson says it is a baseless and unsubstantiated accusation.
The Daily Guide, apologize for free SHS attacks, Nana to Mahama. DACF boss launches 10 million Ghana cedis for the poor. We push for jobs, not vigilantism. Volta rebels eye bigger targets, and MP fights minister over government land lease.
The Finder, Kokobo's CEO, decorated with Ivorian National Honor. NIA produces critical data to support progress. Akufo-Addo cuts short for 2 hospitals at Enyinam and Kwabing, so the 2 people are very excited about this. NSS introduces drone technology for farming and some other stories.
The Informer, we'll deal with you, Akufo-Addo tells secessionists. Mahama fights incompetence tag. Baumia punches Mahama, and issue politics as at barracks, the IGP warns.
Now, the new Weekend Crusading Guide. Government revitalizing Buankra Inland Port to create jobs. This is John Kuma. School for the Blind gets classroom blocks. Trauma Hospital for Enyinam takes off as President Akufo-Addo breaks ground. And Natoshi unveils 10 million Ghana cedi fund to build shelter for widows.
Daily Heritage, you have a bad record. Ofusu Ampofo to Baomia. Kenejapong's doctor to speak in court on October 6th. Nam one trial to start this legal year. Prosecution tells court, and suspend KIA COVID-19 testing contract, says the minority to government.
Now, the Ghanaian Observer, Akufo-Addo charges NPP supporters don't vote for any independent candidate. Bernard, remember the independent candidate issues that resulted in all the fights around? Yes. President Akufo-Addo storms Eastern Region, undertakes more development projects. Big boost for education as government builds 9 new model senior high schools. FDA clears COAFS. And Baumia on Mahama, he is the new Bishop of Promises.
The Herald, NPP Majority Chief Whip calls Bono Regional Minister a thief. Audit Service Board Chairman hunts staff with private audit firms in the middle of crucial audits. Akufo-Addo officially runs from presidential debates with Mahama. Kotoka COVID-19 test contract is stinking, unconscionable, corrupt, cruel, and self-enriching deal, says the minority. Yeah.
The
Lots of
Ghanaian
adjectives there.
Bluffo.
Now, to the Ghanaian publisher, Toshi launches 10 million Ghana cedi fund to build shelter for widows. Ken Ejapon's contempt case adjourned. Akufo-Addo storms Eastern region, cuts sword for 55 million euro in Yinam Trauma Hospital, and inspects work on new Abomosu Model Senior High School. And the Okada phenomenon, to legalize or not to legalize, a view from Accra City Hall. This is written by the Accra Mayor.
Business and Financial Times. Usage of mobile money platform increases. Interoperability sees over 940% growth within a year. Look within to address cybersecurity needs. 2 out of 5 people financially excluded, and over 50% of those are in the north. And McDan Entrepreneurship Challenge Season 2 launch.
The Republic Press. President breaks silence on secessionist attacks.
Okay.
He seized 324,000 used condoms after raiding a company, repacking them for sale.
This is Vietnam.
Chinese chief drops title, and Mahama weeps over incompetent staff.
Okay, let me take you online, citinewsroom.com. National Security Minister to visit Volta region today. Also, voter ID numbers duplicated during one-day voter registration exercise. Other stories, EC overwhelmed by turnout for one-day voter registration. And Nana Do has nothing to show for excessive borrowing, according to Mahama. Now, if talking about borrowing, citybusinessnews.com, Ghana adjudged the most impressive bond issuer at the Global Capital Bond Awards 2020. Also, Bank of Ghana cautions against online trading of Ghana cedi notes and coins. EU approves 93 million euro budget support for Ghana. And local banks must fully fund Cocoa syndicated loan in future. This is the board chairman of Cocoa Board, Hackman Owusu Ajiman. On myjournalline.com, pencil art celebrities artist Ray Styles is dead. Also, Ghana should consider revising pension age according to NPRA. Provide names, locations of schools connected to free Wi-Fi. This is Apak Daring Bawumia. And floods force nearly 700 residents in West Mamprusi district out of their homes. Very, very serious story. If you go to Star News, your work will end in 2024. Watching it to Akufo-Addo. Also, Akufo-Addo not being serious with Western Togoland crisis. This is Mahama. Meanwhile, not every district will get a factory. Nana Komia on 1D1F. And as you read earlier, suspend COVID testing at KIA with Shady Frontiers Healthcare. Ghana News Agency's lead story. Develop specialized content to sell Ghana upon Chroma urges GNA. Also, VIP hands over Infectious Disease Center to 37 Military Hospital. And as you read, reject MPP members contesting as independent. This is happening everywhere. Now, the big international story is the Donald and Melania test positive for coronavirus. CNN leads with it. BBC leads with it. It's a huge story. And it came through via a tweet. President Trump says he and the First Lady tested positive after a top aide, Hope Hicks, received a positive test result late Thursday. Where does that lead the debates?
Exactly.
Maybe they'll take Kojo's advice and do it virtually.
They may have to.
Okay, so let's get into the details, guys.
All right, should we do some sword cutting and
Yes,
commissioning
yes,
first? All right.
yes.
So we'll start with the president, okay, and he's sword cutting. President Nana Akufo-Addo, this is in the Statesman, has cut sword for the construction of a trauma hospital at Enyam in the Etiwa East constituency and a 40-bed district hospital at Kwabeng in the Etiwa West constituency in the Eastern region. The ceremony was performed yesterday as part of the president's tour of the Eastern region. The trauma hospital project has been made possible by a 55 million euro facility from Deutsche Bank, part of which will also be used for the 3 other projects, namely a new hospital at Obuasi East, the rehabilitation of the existing Obuasi Government Hospital, and the remodeling of the Enyurisi Hospital. So we've got the president here. Do you want to do more, President, before I go to the lines?
Still on this, the Tiwa East Trauma Hospital project is to be constructed by the Universal Hospital Group, a wholly based Ghanaian company which has a solid track record in the delivery of similar infrastructure in parts of the country.
Yes.
The components of this project are as follows: an emergency department with a triage unit, 3 operating theatres, recovery rooms, resuscitation rooms, a plaster room, diagnostic center, CT scan, X-ray, and other laboratories, and a blood bank. And it will also have a public health department, medical administration, 100 beds in total for inpatient wards.
Still on health, Baumia hands over infectious disease center to 37 military hospital. This story is on citinewsroom.com. The vice president on Wednesday commissioned a 4.8 million Ghana cedi ultramodern infectious disease treatment center at the 37 military hospital in Accra. The idea of building a facility was originally conceived in 2014 during the outbreak of Ebola disease in DR Congo and other parts of Africa. The 25-bed facility houses a command center to coordinate the activities of isolation centers across the country and health surveillance unit. Anything else commissioned or launched?
Well, NSS is introducing drone technology for farming.
Okay.
So I think this is a launch, right?
Let's get inside.
Now, the Finder Center spread says, in a quest to improve efficiency on its farms, the National Service Scheme has resorted to the use of technology on its various farms across the country to help boost yields. The scheme's mandate is to deploy Ghanaian graduates from various institutions in and outside the country for a mandatory 12-month service. Now, the deployment is done to various sectors of the economy. And we are told that the scheme has farms in Dawenya, Damango, Tantala, Ijura farms, and they are into the production of maize. And in other areas like Numga, they are into the production of animals. Now, they are introducing drone technology to help them manage pests, to help them manage the farms better and to improve their efficiency.
Okay, since he's talking about new things, Registrar General's Department introduces new electronic system for business registration. This story is on citybusinessnews.com. The Registrar General's Department has announced the introduction of a new electronic system to help in the processes and procedures of registering companies in the country and promote Ghana's efforts at improving the ease of doing business. Now, according to the Registrar General, this is in compliance with Companies Act as well as the implementation of the Beneficial Ownership Register, and they issued a statement. So basically, it's a one-stop shop, it's digital, and it's simpler. What else do you have from the campaign trail?
All right, we'll deal with you, Akufo-Addo tells secessionists. So this is the informer here.
Okay.
President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has sent a clear and strong signal to all secessionist groups, indicating that they will be dealt with ruthlessly by the state security agencies. According to him, he trusts the commitment, judgment, and professionalism of the state security agencies in dealing with the Homeland Study Group, who are bent on fomenting trouble by plunging the country into chaos. Quote, "It's just a handful of people, these secessionists. We'll deal with them. I have no doubt about it, but there's no value for this country if I start making hysterical statements." I think we captured this on Citi News as well, this quote from him.
So that was the informer's version. Kojo has the chronicle now.
Yes, how Togoland criminals captured police commander. John Bediako writes that reports reaching the chronicle have it that the firing of a sidearm by the Sogakope divisional police commander provoked the break into the armory and theft of a number of assault rifles and other things from the Aveime police station a week ago. A credible source who spoke to this reporter said in the early hours of Friday, September 25, the criminals attacked the police station, subdued the personnel on duty, locked them up in their own cells, and released 2 inmates, Prince Nojifa and Senyor Lechu, and then drove away. The source further told the Chronicle that one of the police personnel who had been detained in the cells by the attackers managed to conceal his mobile phone in his clothes. When the detained officer realized that the police station was calm, he used the phone to call the divisional commander Sogakope because his district commander, who should have been the first person to be called, was on Operation Vanguard duties. Responding to the distress call, the commander mobilized his men to rescue about 6 men locked up in the cells. Somewhere along the way, the Chronicle was told the police vehicle they were traveling in from Sogakope came face to face with the criminals. And at this juncture, the commander reportedly opened fire with a sidearm. Provoked, the criminals returned firepower, and at this stage, the personnel who accompanied the police commander tactically withdrew into the bush and abandoned their boss.
Staying with secessionist issues, the National Security Minister is to visit the Volta region today. This is a City News lead story. The National Security Minister, Albert Kandapa, and other high-ranking security officials are expected to visit the Volta region today, October the 2nd. Their visit follows attacks in some areas of the region by a group claiming to be separatist. The visit will afford the security chiefs an opportunity to obtain first-hand information from security personnel on the ground. And then the story gives the background. Kokui, do you have anything else on this?
We do. There's an article here talking about a Togolese connection to deceptive Volta secessionists.
Wow.
And the agenda being revealed. This is in the Herald. The political agenda behind the activities of the people masquerading in the Volta region as secessionists is getting clearer by the day, with confirmation that they are hired agents with no ties whatsoever whatsoever to the region. But the involvement of Togolese nationals in the attack, which left some 3 persons killed, has been established with confirmation that a lawyer based in Ghana's eastern neighboring country has been hired to ensure that the so-called secessionist agenda goes through. Lawyer Marshall Akapo is to fight for the secessionists, who many in the region have not seen or can identify with or relate to, yet they have committed themselves to a course at the United Nations for the autonomy and independence of Voltarians. You can read more about that in the Herald.
There is an interesting release by the Bank of Ghana. We saw this yesterday. Sale and purchase of Ghana Cedi notes and coins.
I wonder what people are doing online.
Yeah. But you know, sometimes when some of these things start coming up gradually, it blows up into something big.
Yes.
And I think the Bank of Ghana is being proactive here.
Yeah.
Now, they've caused the Ghanaian Times to publish this release. Says the bank's attention has been drawn to the trading of Ghana Cedi notes and coins currently in circulation as legal tender on online platforms. The Bank of Ghana wishes to inform and remind the general public that it is the only institution with the right to issue and redeem Ghana Cedi notes and coins in Ghana. And they write that it is therefore illegal for any person or institution to buy or sell the Ghana Cedi notes or coins currently in circulation, regardless of the purpose or intent for such trading. After reading this statement, I really was trying to understand how this is possible. So maybe the Bank of Ghana can explain further so that people would know how this is happening.
Well, since you're the Bank of Ghana, Ghana has been awarded the most impressive African issuer at the Global Capital Bond Awards 2020 after its successful issuance of $3 billion Eurobond at a record rate in the first quarter of the year. Ghana beat Morocco and First Africa Corp in the category. On Tuesday, March 17, the nation successfully issued $3 billion in a single transaction of 3 tranches. At the close of the roadshow in London, the appetite for the 2019 sovereign bond had swelled, results in orders totaling $21 billion, about 7 times more than the amount expected. Now, there are a couple of stories that we don't have in the newspapers, but we have it online. So we're talking about flooding in the northeast region. CitiNewsroom.com and myjournalline.com actually focus quite strongly on these stories, whereas I don't see them in any newspaper. Now, the Gbani and Dimia communities in the West Mampusi district of Northeast region have been cut off from other communities due to flooding. The flooding situation in these communities is as a result of a dam at Guabuliga overflowing its banks after a downpour on Thursday, the 1st of October. Houses have been submerged and residents displaced as a result of the situation. The West Mampusi Chief Executive Lucky Somo Arimeyao said they were working with the NADMO to help affected residents. He says, as we speak, all the houses have been submerged and the buildings collapsed. Residents are not able to collect anything from their homes. This is the calamity that has befallen us. We are working tirelessly to support people in this community with the difficulties. Then if you go to my journal online, they say floods force nearly 700 residents in West Mampusi out of their homes. Nearly 700 residents in some communities in West Mampusi district are bearing the brunt of torrential flooding that has wreaked havoc in the area. Then the same communities are mentioned. Says property running into thousands of Ghana cedis has been destroyed in the phenomena that has rendered many homeless. 2 dams burst separately at Dimia and Guabluga Thursday after a heavy downpour, and then the same details are given. They speak to the DCE and NADMO. The situation is not looking good at all. So it's something we should keep an eye on today. All right.
Well, Bernard, yesterday the EC carried out a registration exercise. It's captured by the various newspapers. One-day registration exercise, eligible voters grab last chance. There were some issues in some areas. But I'll take you to the NIA because going forward...
Oh, you don't want to tell us what happened on the registration?
Okay.
For example, in Tamale, the EC was overwhelmed by the turnout. The story says that EC has expressed surprise at the overwhelming number of eligible voters who turned out to register in the EC's one-day registration exercise. Now, at the Tamale district office of the EC, hundreds of eligible voters had queued to register for the ID card. Now, if you go to the same website, there are other angles to this story. We're told, for example, that voter ID numbers duplicated during one-day exercise. Again, this story is on CitiNewsroom.com. It says the EC has said that there was the duplication of some voter ID numbers during the registration exercise on October the 1st. It's come to our attention that a number of biometric voter registration kits at some registration centers have issued applicants with voter ID numbers that have already been issued, the EC said in a statement. But the commission added that the errors have been corrected.
I wonder. Okay. Let's talk about COVID-19 testing at the airport.
Yes.
All right. Kotoka COVID test contract is stinking, unconscionable, corrupt, cruel, and self-enriching deal, says the minority. The minority caucus in Parliament has called for the immediate suspension of the ongoing COVID-19 testing at the Kotoka International Airport. The caucus has also questioned the viability of the contract awarded to a private company, Frontiers Healthcare Limited, and called for its termination. Speaking at a news conference in Accra yesterday, the minority spokesman on health, who is also the member of parliament for Dwaboso, Kwabena Minta Akando, urged the government to engage the services of the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research to carry out the COVID-19 tests instead of contracting a private institution whose charges are higher. Quote, we in the minority have suggested to the government to utilize the services of Noguchi, who have spearheaded the testing of COVID-19 cases in our country since the pandemic took its course, instead of contracting a private institution whose charges are higher. He said the government awarded the contract to Frontiers Healthcare Limited because the Akufo-Addo-led government is more interested in creating avenues for its families and friends to take advantage of the situation to exploit Ghanaians rather than considering the plight of the people.
Okay, so I'll take you to the NIA now. NIA registers over 15 million Ghanaians.
Okay.
And the story says Prof. Ken Ajimatifa, the executive secretary of NIA, says the authority has registered more than 15 million Ghanaians at the end of the nationwide card registration and mop-up exercises. He said out of the 15.5 million people enrolled, the total cards printed was 14.6 million, with the total cards issued being 13.8 million. Now let me take you to where it gets interesting. The occupational breakdown of the more than 15 million people captured in the enrollment include farmers, 3.18 million.
Wow.
15 million.
3.18 million
Yes.
farmers.
Students, 2.7 million.
We have more farmers registered than students.
Retail market traders, 1.6 million.
Interesting.
Unemployed, 905,000. And businessman, businesswoman, 617,000.
Wow.
The rest are tailors, dressmakers, upholsters, and related workers, 525,000.
If you add that to the retail people and then you add that to the businessmen, a lot of these are informal.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Then there are the teachers, 523,000. Hairdressers, barbers, beauticians, and related workers, 424,000. Van drivers, taxi drivers, car drivers, 351,000.
Wow.
And retired, 327,000.
How many journalists did they
I was
register?
about to say, media
Yes, and how many
practitioners.
healthcare workers?
Yeah.
I think we need to commend the NIA
Yeah.
because this figure is mighty close to the number of registered
Yes, and
voters.
this gives us a very good idea of
Yeah.
how the system is. Even the age distribution, they give us an idea.
Yeah.
People above 60 years, 1.38 million.
Wow.
Persons between 18 to 60 years, 13.2 million. Single men, 18 plus, 3.09
The
million.
market is there.
Charlie.
How many?
3.09 million. But this is where it gets scary. The single women, no.
How many?
They are fewer than the single men. 2.7 million.
So you see, it's a lie when they tell the women that they aren't men.
Thank you.
Yes.
So we have more single men than single women.
Yeah.
But there's another thing
Okay.
which I want to draw your attention to. Widowers, 89,000. Widows, 701,000.
You can't be
The,
serious.
the men are leaving
Yes.
us. So.
Widowers,
Widowers,
89,000.
89,000.
Widows, 701,000.
Hey!
Yes.
So almost 9 times the number of widows.
and
Of widowers.
I've not
So-
seen the proper breakdown, but I want to assume that a lot of these widowers are also either retired or close to retirement. And
No,
there are
just
people who
take
may
it
not
easy. So you have less than 100,000
widowers.
widowers. As in, so those a widower is a man whose wife is dead.
Yes.
Yes.
It's 90,000.
Yes.
And then widows.
700,000 widows. And
Hey,
then the
Charlie,
last
remember,
one,
yeah, whoop-ow.
the last one I'll give you, divorced,
Uh-huh.
512,000.
Are you serious?
Well, I'm looking at the data in the newspaper.
You have to
Data
call,
is good.
you have to call Professor Atefa
data
for us
is
to
good.
enter this matter well. No, but I think I like the
Data
breakdown.
is good.
Superb stuff. I was just going to give you a last one, but we don't have time. So thank you, Kojo. Thank you, Kokui. That was the newspaper review with the team. Coming up next is the City Business News.
On every street, in every town, and all across Ghana, everyone has goals. What's your goal?
I want to